78.6 FM, positive vibes of Winsome. It's a new day, a new location, a new setup. So I'm getting used to everything. It's kind of new for me right now. So this is going to be a fun adventure on this Saturday here in Okinawa. It is a windy day here at the FM Yomatan location, but everything is so cool. The setup is so nice. We're right outside now of the brand new library that was built here in Yomatan, and it's really nice. It's really cool just looking at and seeing all the kids and families walking into the library right now as we speak. Today's a great day. I'll go ahead and start over. Today is a great day, a beautiful day here in Okinawa. Other than the wind, I got to get ready for this. I'm getting on a flight to go see my big man in Tokyo. That's going to be an awesome adventure. We're doing a one-day adventure together. As you know, the Cully family is here representing Okinawa and mainland Japan. So me and baby boy get to hang out today and eat some Japanese food up in mainland and get on a train tomorrow and go on a little adventure. So I'm really excited to see what's happening and what's next. So everything right now is new, and I like it. I kind of like the new setup. It's really nice. New equipment. The sound is different. The vibe is different. Wide open windows here, so I can't complain at all. I really enjoy newness, right? So this is definitely going to be an adventure and an experience. 78.6 FM, positive vibes with Winsome. So going back to go forwards, I always start this segment off saying thank you. What am I thankful for? What do I have to be grateful for? So much. I think right now is one of those stages in my life that things are going wonderfully, beautifully, from programs to relationships to location, plans, goals, vision. I have an amazing team every single day I get to work. I get to work with an amazing team, wonderful teammates that we build, we explore opportunities, we create for others, and we're doing really wonderful things for the community. A lot of things that I still want to do. And I'll say this, no matter how much we've done and how much we've built and how much we've accomplished over the past 18 months, there's still so much we want to do. And I'm at that window right now, that stage where I realize we're almost to our finish line. How much can we get done before we make it there? And I want to thank my teammates for sharing visions, locking visions. I want to thank my leadership teams who have invited me to these locations to spend time with their communities, to talk to people, to, to pour energy and life into those audiences. And I love it. The coaching team, all the teams that we have, the individuals that are growing as leadership coaches right now, executive coaches, and everyone wants to do something great. Everyone wants to be great. I think that's probably some of the most rewarding mornings to wake up to, is waking up to these messages of people that just want to grow and develop and be better than they were yesterday. And that's something that's overwhelmingly beautiful to me. So I'm very grateful, I'm very honored, and I'm very, appreciative of everything that we already have built, everything we already have, and what is still to come. To the companies that have given me the trust and the tools, the encouragement to be the best version of what we represent. Talent Smart EQ, to Flatter Leadership Academy, to Trainers Warehouse, I can't forget, to powerofpositivity.com. Going from powerpositivity.com, and we talk about LeadX, to the individuals who have poured into us, from Dr. Womack to Dr. Flatter. I can go on and on. To the family of powerpositivity.com, Christopher and Kristen Butler, Dr. Tal Ben Shahar, for everything you've given us over the years to build, to educate, encourage, and inspire our community. I don't think these individuals realize how much I appreciate everything. So to all these teams and to all of these people, and to all of the trust, to all of the encouragement, the weekly communications. I really needed that. I had a conversation yesterday, which I am always grateful for, with Mr. Scott Garricky, my big brother. I want to thank you for giving me your time. I teach, always have someone in your life that no matter what time it is, they'll pick up the phone and allow you to communicate whatever's on your heart and your mind. And Mr. Garricky is one of those people that I know no matter what it is, he'll stop time for me. And he's one of those people that I truly want to emulate throughout my life, that people see me the same way that I see him. Because to me, he's one of those few guardian angels in real life that I have. And he and Sarah, who've been on the show many times, I love you guys, and I really appreciate everything you continue to do, even from the United States, for me. Very grateful to the companies and the people who have backed me, who have believed in me, who have believed in any of this. Thank you. So I say all that to say this: it's a new day, new studio, new communication, new energy. I'm very humbled and so overwhelmingly happy about what has happened up to this point. So this being the gratitude segment, thank you. Thank you to the attendees. I had an opportunity this past week to, again, the Armed Forces Blood Bank team there at Camp Foster. Shout out to you. Shout out to the dental squadron who has the upcoming invitation. Shout out to all the units, the AES, who reach out to us on a monthly basis to come out to your teams to educate, encourage, and inspire. It means so much to put these lessons to use. And if you're not familiar with what we teach, if you're listening in and you don't know what we represent as a team or what my team does, we truly teach lessons that people can grow. They can walk away and apply. It's not like one of those long, underwhelming briefings you sit through and people are like, oh my God, when's this going to be over? All of our classes, our goal is to bring energy, to bring life, to speak something new into your mind, to create new neural pathways for individuals so when they walk away, they feel like, I just took something that I can use for the rest of my life. If we were giving away a magic pill, that's what these classes we try to walk in and give away something like secrets that people just didn't know or know how to find for themselves. So I'm excited about what we do. I love what we do, what we represent, and who we are. And it's very exciting to be a part of this, to be able to bring this to the Saturdays from the week and to share it with all of you here in this community that are driving and listening or at home listening, to have the trust of FM Yomitan, to be able to continue to speak to the community. It's such an honor. So today is going to be kind of a reset, if I will. If you guys have ever purchased a new car, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is one of those days where I'm in the driver's seat, but I'm still trying to figure out how the steering wheel moves and how the wheels feel, right? So it's going to be really smooth today as I get into the topic of discussion. And I really enjoyed the topics that we were able to discuss over the week with different groups. I got to teach the flight leadership course for Kadena Air Base, 2 days with them. We started with emotional intelligence and covering down on the concepts, and then we moved into navigating tough conversations. Now, if you guys don't know my story, or if this is the first time you've ever heard me or tuned in to listen to the radio, you'll understand that making sure individuals understand who they are as people, who you are as a leader, who you are as a brother, as a husband, wife, sister, brother, whatever it is, friend, being able to identify who you truly are, who it is that is showing up every day, making sure that people understand that there are two types of self-awareness. There is internal self-awareness, knowing you. Then there's external self-awareness, guiding and getting that feedback from others to make sure that it is true what you think, feel, and see of yourself based on feedback from everyone around you. Like, how do you truly take that information, process it, navigate not only your emotions, but your decisions, how you value your day, your goals, understanding of your strengths and weaknesses, how all of this plays together. And that's where I start. And then we roll from there into emotional intelligence, your EQ. Now, a lot of people, even the folks who read the recent Forbes magazine, they see emotional intelligence as a buzzword. I get it. However, I see emotional intelligence as the framework for being a great person. Not just a great leader, great at your job, great at being able to read others, great at communication. No, for being a great person. That means that you take in self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management to a whole nother level. That means that you realize how important it is to get to know you under stressful situations, know you, grow you, and build not just the best version of you, but making sure that you're building the relationships around you that matter. If you're focused on home, or if you're focused on work, whatever your focus is, that you're taking the tools that you've learned, that you continue to build on, and you're making the best version of you. And when you can do that, when you can become the best version of you, when you truly put the work in, when you really take into consideration all of your strengths and weaknesses, when you're trying to build on your strengths and turn your weaknesses into strengths, and you're using that to manage and to make those relationships strong. Think about that. They say that for us, we get an average in our lives of 75 years. I was watching the movie and I pulled the video, The Holy Man, from all those years ago, The Holy Man with Eddie Murphy. And Eddie Murphy said it brilliantly and beautifully. He said 75. I just want you to hear this in the time we have left. 75. He said we get 75 birthdays, 75 holidays, 75 winters, 75 summers. On average, we get 75 as human beings. So what are we doing? Are we looking at that as that's a whole lot of time? Or are we realizing that every year the countdown draws back? What are we doing for the 70 whatever you have left? 60, 50? Are you looking at it like that? Because now I want to do more with this next one than I did with the last ones. And I want to be better than I was yesterday. I want to live more. I want to love more. I want to grow more. I want to experience more. And think about that when you choose to live life to the fullest, to get everything you can out of your days, out of your years, out of your experiences, out of your relationships, out of your conversations. When you choose life, when you choose to look at those 75 as if every single one of them matters, everything changes. That's why I'm choosing every weekend to do something unique, something different, somewhere different, trying new things, from glamping to the train this weekend. I mean, every weekend I've chosen to try something new, to live something different. Should I say experience something different? Because I know that tomorrow's not promised. And I don't want to walk away from any of this without living the most that I could and being the best that I could. So I encourage you, if you didn't see your day-to-day the same, I encourage you, if you don't wake up and try to have a full understanding of why you put your 10 toes down and why you do what you do, please, with me, during the next couple of times you see me or you get a chance to listen in, 75 on average for a good life, for a normal life, for an average life. But how you living every single day, every single season, to be the best version of you. 78.6 FM, Yoma Time. We'll be back right after this break, and we're going to talk about that. Are you living your best life? 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. We're back, and we're just talking about living your life to the fullest. And you can take a segment like this and try to cram all of the experiences of your life into one and all of the different goals you've had for yourself. And I just want you to kind of reflect on you, not me, not me. I don't want to, what is the word I'm looking for? Project my life onto you. I don't want to project my vision, my goals. I just want to share the lessons that I've been blessed to learn. The lessons that we share on a larger, grander scale in front of hundreds and thousands of people over the past couple of years. The stories that are shared with us. I went to South Korea, and I had a wonderful opportunity to speak to, in South Korea, different groups. And one of the groups was the 7th Air Force. Shout out to Colonel Laurel Ramos for making that trip happen. And, of course, to Benjamin Malat, the development advisor in that region, for supporting that trip. I want to say, when I got there, I wasn't really sure what to expect. Now, when you go into this location, there are no cameras, there's no videos, there's no pictures. It's you and this team. And when I got there with me and this team, I realized that the team had no idea who I was, what I do, and why I was there. So, of course, we do the icebreaker. We open it up. We give everybody on the same page. We speak about, who they are, introduce who I am. I tell my 27-year-long Air Force quick story. Been around 27 years. I retired next year. How many kids I got, where I've been, the jobs I've lived. But then when it gets to why I do what I do, that's when I think people start really kind of, oh, I get it. You see, I've been through so many stories, seen so many failed leadership attempts. I've seen so many failed teams. I've seen so many failed missions. I've seen us fail people, not paying attention to the things that matter, not necessarily for us as individuals, but after having an understanding of us, being able to pay attention to what matters to others. You've heard me speak on the SPIRE model, the spiritual, physical, intellectual, relational, and emotional. But when I brought it to them, it was different. I wanted to make sure I was meeting them where they were in a short tour location in Korea, South Korea, away from their families in some cases, and away from friends. How are you living to make sure that your well-being is intact? So the questions we asked and the situations I was explaining to them, and the environments that I had been in and I was sharing with them, I told them spiritually, no matter where I was, I always found a place. I always found somewhere, from Kosovo to Greenland to here, even Korea through my last tour, to what they used to call Kyrgyzstan. All these locations that I went to, I found somewhere where I could block out the noise. I want to tell you and share with you why that's important, to find that place where you can stop, block out the noise, reflect, be present for yourself. Remember who you are, why you do what you do. Recharge your batteries. Leave your phone away from you. Turn it off. Disconnecting from the world. To be able to find that place that you can do those things is one of those cheat codes that people don't value enough. So what I was explaining to them was, where is it that you go? What is it that you do? What do you practice to block out the noise and stop time for yourself? Because I know when we're teaching all these folks about relationship management and communication and listening and mindful listening, that we always talk about stopping time for others. But what is it that you do? Where is it that you go to stop time for yourself? And I gave them the phrase that I use when I'm talking about mindfulness and presence. And I said, you in this mission, in this environment, and what we are asking you to do, I know you can move. But can you be still? Can you find time to stop time for you? And I told them the same story you've heard from me, how I go to the Zampa Lighthouse and I climb up to the top, and I might take a few pictures at first if I take my phone, but I disconnect as long as I have. And I used to spend a lot more time up there than as of recent. And I used to have a much better routine. But then I started traveling more. As you've heard, I wanted to go and see and experience more. So my time at the lighthouse has been different. But it's beautiful because when I go up there now, it's as if I go up there for the first time. All 99 steps get quieter and quieter as I go up to the top. And when I come out of the top of the lighthouse and I break through the daylight and I see the different surroundings, it looks new. It's not the same ocean that I saw last time, but it is. But I look at it like it's new. I experience it new. It's not the same air that was blowing and hit me last time, but it is. But I experience like it's new. It's not the same coastline, but it is. But I'm looking for something I didn't see last time. It's not the same when I walk around as it was, but it is. I choose to make this experience like the first time. I block out the noise and I'm taking it all in. I'm pausing. And sometimes I stand up there and I know there's tourists that come up and they're trying to get around me because I'll lock into a spot and I'll look at the water and I'll just take my time. And I'll look to the end and I'll look at the rocks, or I'll watch the waves crash against the rocks and I'll lock in like I've never seen it before. But you know the coolest is when I remember the first time while I'm watching the waves crash against the rocks, and I think about the first time I took that trip or that did that journey for 99 steps, and I think about how it felt the first time and how much time has elapsed and how beautiful it still is. Still standing, like us. So I experience those things. I savor that experience now very differently than I did on my Saturday routine before. I savor that experience as if I may not get this experience again. What did I see? What did I hear? What did I smell? How did it feel? I'm taking it all in differently, and it feels beautiful. It's like a new experience when I climb down those 99 stairs and I walk to the car and I breathe and I'm like, wow. Another part of my favorite piece is when I'm walking into and I'm paying my entry fee. And I see the staff there, Miss Rika-san. And I say hi, and I don't understand everything she's always saying, but her smile always makes me smile. When I'm showing her pictures from the Lighthouse Beacon Award and I'm explaining to her how it went from me going to this lighthouse for the first time and how much I loved it and wanted to share this with everyone, how now it is an award that affects 5 different bases and is talking about people that are doing wonderful and beautiful things in their communities, people who are standing out based on their character, people who are being good people to others. And how this lighthouse, this beacon of light shared, inspired me to create that. And when I was showing her pictures and seeing her light up, and we were trying to explain to her what this meant for so many people now every quarter, it still makes me light up thinking about it. And the energy that on my way up, thinking about how much of an impact this lighthouse does not only have for me, but now for hundreds around this region. It's crazy to think about to me sometimes because it started with a vision. It started with what could be. It started with this place is beautiful. How do I share this? If I can't bring people here, how do I bring them here? So the Lighthouse Beacon Award, the Lighthouse Experience, and what it stands for and what the people who win are represented means everything to me. And even if after I leave this base or after I leave this region, they stop doing it, I know what it stood for, and that lighthouse, it will still be standing. The lighthouse concept, being a beacon of light to others. So I say all that because you have to find that place that represents what you want to stand for, that place that you can go and block out the noise, that place where you can stop time for yourself the same way that you should be stopping time for others when they're coming to you. That place that is feeding your soul, your spirit, your energy, allowing you to recharge, because you can't give back to others if you have not given back to yourself. No matter what graph, what picture, what research study you've seen, it will always tell you that you got to recharge if you're trying to pour into other people. I can't pour from an empty cup. I can't build you up if I have nothing to give you. So where do you go to do that? What do you do? What are those practices for you? Where's that place that you can be present, that you can savor the experience, that you can disconnect to reconnect, that you can be mindful about the scenario, the environment, place, the place that you are, that you can take it in different, that you can always look for something that you didn't catch last time, see something that you didn't see yesterday, experience something new like it's the first time, but it's not. But in your mind, you want to relive that experience like it is the first time. Where's that place you go? In Kosovo, it was, I believe, right outside the gym, there was an area I was able to sit down and look and stand, and I can see away from the smog area, see over into the area that we were actually protecting. In Greenland, you've seen photos. I would climb to the top of the Air Force's only tugboat and just be up there for hours in the snow without the overcoat on and just taking all in, seeing the frozen ocean from the location where I was standing, where the tugboat can't even go in there no more because it's frozen over. And I'm standing on top of this huge tugboat, and I'm enjoying being the only person up there. And people used to think I was crazy until they realized what I was doing. And then they wanted to ask me questions and wanted to know how. And then I got here, and I don't have the tugboat anymore, so I go to the top of the lighthouse. That experience to me is the same as somewhere I can go. I got to climb to get there because the views at the top make the climb worth the journey. And it's like everything in life. When you work for it and you have what you wanted, the journey is so much more impactful. 78.6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome. That was some spiritual mindfulness. We'll be right back after this message. .6 FM, Positive Vibes of Winsome, and we're back. Got a little bit more time with you guys, so I wanted to talk about some of the other items I shared when I was on my South Korea journey, South Korea trip. That was one of those trips that once I got there, I realized that there's a reason I'm here. Sometimes you go places and it was just by invitation. Some places you go, you know that it was meant to happen. It was designed to happen. That the reality is that sometimes those stories are a lot deeper than what it seems like on the surface, right? meant to be. And that was one of those trips where I realized that that journey was meant to happen. The feedback I got from that team was beautiful. They really enjoyed it. Of course, when can you come back out? But the feedback I got from myself was, no matter how many times I teach this, there's always going to be somebody who needs it. Physically, how are you taking care of yourself? Think about this for a second. We talk about spiritually, we talk about physically. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and sit here and hype myself up and say I eat like a dietitian, because I eat what I want. But I also make it a point to try to wake up every single day when I can wake up early to go to the gym to do something. Even if it's 20 minutes, 30 minutes to do something. To walk on a treadmill, to lift, to do some cardio, to do abs, whatever it is, just something. And I encourage people who, when you think about physical well-being, taking care of yourself, not being stubborn. Like, I have a friend that always tells me, go to the doctor for the things that I'm like, that's not that big of a deal, but it may not seem like a big deal, but I understand that it may have long-term consequences if it is. What kind of rest matters to me? We talk about what time you get home, your sleep hygiene. If you're not familiar with what your sleep hygiene is, that is, what is your nightly routine? When you get home, what time do you shower? What's the last time that you eat? What time do you lay down on a pillow? How many hours of sleep are you getting at night? Like, all of that stuff matters, because the person who's taking care of themselves the night before is the person who was showing up as the best version of them the next morning, because they got the rest that they needed. They're sound mentally. They're not groggy. They're not dragging. They're focused. And did you know I make it a point to wake up earlier than probably my gym time so I can do just a couple of little things? I heard something that was wonderful the other day, and it said, waking up and getting those small victories. I stopped going into the news first thing in the morning. I stopped looking at YouTube because that would stress me out, looking at the news and what's going on in the world. So instead, I wake up and I try to say, okay, what's something positive I can listen to as I'm drinking my little wake-up drink, right? And I also started waking up and I drink water first. I didn't used to do that. I'd go straight to my wake-up energy caffeine drink, but now I'm sipping on water as soon as I get up, because I know that it's better for my body if I do that instead of jumping in the food, jumping in the energy drink, whatever it is, caffeine, to wake up and start. Those are small things that I can do. Those are small victories for the morning. And when you start your morning off with those little victories, you've already got far ahead of some people who just jump aimlessly into the day. Come on, man. And then we talk about actually rest and recovery, not just how much sleep am I getting, but how much rest am I giving myself back? And if you know me, you know that I'm a firm believer is if I go in early, then I'm making that time up for myself during the day. If I stay late, then I'm making that time up for myself. Because what happens is, if you just continuously beat yourself up without pausing, without resting, without giving yourself breaks, which is giving yourself grace, you're doing what so many people in our world have done wrong for the longest time. I was here and I spoke a few weeks ago about how motivational speakers are always telling people to go, 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 grind, grind, grind. And scientifically and medically, they are telling people to beat themselves up without rest, without recovery, without giving themselves grace. See, you know your strengths and weaknesses. You know when you have to put more into it. And I never want to take away from anybody's hustle, but you know what you need to put into being successful. You know that if you do something 15 minutes a day, every day, that over time you're going to be that much better than a person that doesn't put time into it. You know that if you put more dedication, you wake up a little bit early to work on something, stay a little later to work on something, it's going to be a better product. But you also need to know that when you pour into other things, projects, missions, jobs, you need to give that time back to yourself. You need to rest. You need to find those times to rest. You need to take breaks when breaks are available. You need to be able to put a knee down. Take a knee is what we call it, when you can give back to yourself. You see that grind, 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 go. I've learned and I've met so many of my friends who will tell you, oh yeah, man, I was doing this and staying up till 1 o'clock to do this and do that. How could you have done that differently and more creatively? Where could you have built in rest? Especially if you're someone who goes home to a busy family life. So especially if you goes home to other requirements, responsibilities. Where can you get creative and build in rest? Because all I hear is grind. And if you guys have never owned an automobile or never seen any kind of machinery, if you're just grinding against the machine all the time, at a certain point in time, you're going to wear the machine down. Or whatever you're grinding against isn't going to be the best product. Have you ever had brakes? Have you ever seen what happens when you continuously use the brakes, grind them, but you don't replace the brakes? They're warped. The car is not going to brake like it used to. It's not going to give you the same resistance that it's supposed to. It's not going to have the same energy in those brakes that you need. And what happens is that's what we do to ourselves. We grind against the grain. And I'll tell you, you have to build in rest and recovery. You have to pay attention to what you're feeding your body and your mind and the rest that you're giving yourself back. We talk about being able to be present, and we also need to talk about how you rest. In our nation, so many people do not find time or make time for rest and recovery. You can look it up anywhere. There's a lot of people who, what they call in some businesses, use or lose leave, right? They don't use it, so they lose it because they never took that vacation time. So a lot of people who, if they're able to keep it, they just rack it up. And then there's people who go on vacations or take trips or do things, but they're still doing work when they go. And we call that being tethered to your job, which in addition to being unhealthy is also not truly taking a break. Well, I'm in one of those jobs where I got to take my phone with me. Then you're not taking a break. You're still working. Well, I got to take my laptop. I got to plug in. Then you're still working. When you're going to find that place and that space that's really taking a break, when have you created that space for yourself to where you can go and do these things and lock into them and not be tethered to your job or your responsibilities or that aspect of your life? Because when you go on vacation, that's supposed to mean that you're letting those things go so that you can reset mentally, emotionally, physically. Think about it. I love going on vacation where I don't think about work, where I can just eat what I want, just do whatever I want. The best is when I can actually leave my laptops. Those are the best. I don't have to flip it open to look or see if anybody emailed me. I can just focus on that trip. I think the last time I was able to do that was Hokkaido. I didn't do any work. It was the snow, the trip, the adventure, the journey, the bus, the tours. And it was an amazing feeling. It was like letting go. I forgot what I did for a living for a few days. And I was living in the snow. It was so cool. Even though the park that we went to wasn't like what you'll picture like a big adventure, it was the simplest of things that made that journey so much fun. I'm on a little sled with kids, almost knocking kids off their feet because I'm being a big kid. Going and just throwing snowballs, just running up snow mountains, just letting go. Do you know how great that felt? Do you know how not just of a mental recovery, how much of a physical release it was because all the tension that I had thinking about what I need to do and what I have to do, just gone. Are you giving yourself that recovery? We talk about physical. Are you allowing yourself to let go? Or are you constantly tethered? Now, I get it. There's a lot of my friends like myself who have side quests. You have a lot of things you're building. You have things that you're passionate about. You have, where am I at on a Saturday? I'm here because I love to do this. But this isn't taken away from me. In my mind and in my heart, this is given back. This is therapeutic. This is sharing what I've been holding on to all week and sharing it with the community. This isn't work to me. Now, that's what makes it different. Your side quests, your side missions, those things that you have on the side that you do outside of work, do they bring you joy? Are they passion projects? Or are they things that feed your mind, your spirit? We're going to talk about intellectual well-being in a minute. But all those things that help you grow to the place that you're trying to get to. Be the person that you're trying to become. We live in the blue zone here in Okinawa. I said 75 when we're talking about the movie that I was referencing, but we live in the blue zone where the people here live longer than the people live where I'm from. The reason why the people here live longer lives than the people where I'm from is because they value their lives differently. They handle stress differently. They eat differently. They approach work and family differently. They have perspective, and they pay attention to what's important to them, and they love on their family members. I have a friend right now who goes home on certain days just to be there for grandma. I have friends right now whose parents and families live in the same house. It's loving on each other differently. And then I'm coming from a society or a place where I see a lot of throwaway mentality. Oh, that person's too old. They don't have anything to do with me. I don't feel like dealing. I don't have the energy for that. And that's how we treat people. But these folks who love differently, who live differently, who cherish things differently, even foods, the way it's made is done differently. They live longer than us. It's not science. It's fact. If you haven't seen the show on Blue or Netflix, Blue Zones, go check it out. You might learn something. It's not a magic trick. It's not a machine like I just saw people talking about building these tubes to live longer. It's taking initiative. It's being deliberate about how they are living every single day. I tell the story when I'm talking about this, about when I go up to the lighthouse, and that day I met that gentleman who was 96 years old that was walking around as if he was in his 40s or 50s with a wonderful, beautiful strength. And I was thinking to myself, after talking to him and finding out how old he was, how? And then I started doing the studying and research and understanding that it's deliberate, it's intentional. It's not by accident. It's not a freak of nature. It's deliberate living, taking care of himself, his rest, his diet, not drinking, not smoking, loving differently, having a family support system, encouraging each other to do more, eat better, get rid of the things that are going to lower your life expectancy. You see, when you have those things and those people in your life, everything changes. And when we're talking about physical well-being or taking care of yourself physically, everything matters. You have to be deliberate. You have to be building those things into your life that are going to allow you to live the life that you want. My dream is to not just be a father, but to see my grandkids. I don't want to be grandpa. I want to be pop. I want to be when I can see two generations graduate and be the old man sitting there proud and telling stories. You know what I mean? The old man telling stories. Back in my day, I used to be on the radio in Okinawa. Being able to share little things like that. Not just living this one little storyline and having that be the end all. That's, to me, is kind of sad. So much living to do and so much more to give. 78.6 FM Yomitan, Positive Vibes of Winsome. We'll be back right after this break. Thank you. 78.6 FM Yomatan, new studio, new show, new energy, new stories. I'm really excited to be here today. I'm preparing to go see my big man, my son. He's 19, Air Force, aiming high, and spending some time in Tokyo today. I can't wait for that. I'm really, really excited about that journey. And that gave me life today, planning. I have wonderful people that help me plan and make this trip possible. And going on and being able to spend the day with him means the world to me. 2 days with him means the world to me. But we want to talk about, and the conversations I have with him all the time are, make sure what you're feeding your mind. Pay attention to what you're feeding your mind. We talked about spiritual. We talked about being mindful. We talked about being present. We talked about living intentionally. We talked about physical, taking care of yourself. We talked about how to live the best version of your life, to not only be intentional, but be deliberate about how you live, who you are, how long you truly want to be in this world. If the average is 75, how do you beat the odds? If they tell you you only got 75 years to live, hey, I want to prove them wrong. How do you do that? What can you do to be the best version of you, to fight for your time? One of those things that's important to me is what I feed my mind. If you ever walk in my office, you ever walk in my home, if you ever see me, if you ever know what I'm listening to, I am always listening, reading, watching, and doing things that stimulate my mind in a positive way. I'll tell you, the only thing in my life right now that might feed into negativity is the news. And I watch that and I give it its own space because I need to know what's going on in the world. Not for me, for my kids, for my family, for my loved ones, for the folks that matter to me. I have to know. Not because I can control anything or that I can change anything, but just so I am informed. So when I joke and I say that's the only negativity that I give in my life, because there's a lot of things in the world that are not always great. So when I'm able to pay attention, identify, and prepare to have those conversations with friends, loved ones, my kids, be able to mentally prepare them and tell them, hey, you give it space, but don't allow it to rent space in your mind rent-free, or lease space in your mind rent-free. You got to be able to compartmentalize and focus on your locus of control. What is within your control, not the things that you have absolutely no control over, because if you go down that rabbit hole, you'll lose everything. I just had a conversation about that. A friend that was getting very frustrated and angry about what we were reading in the news, and I was like, hey, time out. What is within your locus of control? Because when you saw me getting emotional about something I watched in the news, you told me, you said, hey, God's got it. I can't control all of this, so I'm going to give you the same advice. Put yourself in a situation of focusing on your locus of control. What is what you can control with you, your immediate family, your finances, your life, your moves, your decision making, and your actions. Think about that and focus on that. How are you taking care of you? And what are you feeding your mind? What are you watching? I was joking with a friend recently. I was like, hey, I tell my kids, if you're watching something scary, you better watch something positive before you go to sleep. Because what you feed your mind matters. You notice people who watch scary movies got them weird dreams? What you feed your mind matters. I could watch a movie last night, but I went to bed watching Scrubs or Always Sunny in Philadelphia because it brings me positive energy. I'm not doing consistent. I've done it a couple times, going to sleep with scary movies on like It. Then I had to make sure, hey, that was a weird dream I had based on that. So now I flip it, make sure I feed something positive into your mind. Now, if that's not just a go on to sleep thing, what positivity, what energy, what encouragement, what growth, what lessons are you feeding your mind with every single day? I told you a cheat code earlier, waking up and listening to something positive. What about waking up and listening to something that's encouraging, that's speaking knowledge into your life into your world? What about something that is teaching you something new? There are sites, there are sources you can go to now that you can pick the day and you can listen to different topics, even quick reads. I just saw this where you can do like little quick reads where you can listen to something that gives you like a synopsis of a book or a lesson or a class, but it's feeding your mind with something new. You got to find those things. You got to value those things for yourself when it's intellectual well-being. What you're feeding your mind matters. What you are learning matters. What you surround yourself, what you watch matters. Who is somebody that you aspire to be like, and how are you connecting with that person, be it on a personal level, or be it on a business level, or be it on a knowledge level? How did they do and get to where they are to be able to have what you want to have in you? And how are you making those moves to have that for yourself? You see, the difference is a lot of people will watch something or see something, emulate it without understanding the pieces that it takes to get there. I challenge you with everything we've talked about since the beginning, navigating relationships, navigating yourself, being self-aware, learning to make sure that you understand what it takes to take care of you, to be the best version of you, to understand who you are, where you're going, who you're trying to be, what you want for your finish line, where you're trying to go in your life, what you're trying to build, who matters to you, how long are you trying to be around? How do you take those 75 and tell 75 that if that's the average you're telling me, I'm going to beat that. I'm going to give life everything I can, and I'm going to give everything into every day and opportunity I have, because I'm not going to accept a number that someone else gives me. I'm going to fight for the number that gives me the life that I want. And in order to get there, in order to be that, in order to have that, you have to do those things for you that matter. You have to take care of yourself. You have to build those relationships that are grounded in truth and deep, not surface. You have to feed your life what you want out of your life. And if you're feeding those people, those places and things that grow you, that build you, and keep you around and make you strong, then you're in the fight. You're living that life that's going to allow you to achieve the vision you want, to have the dream that you want, to do the things that you want. So I say all that to say this. I got 2 minutes, I think, left, and I got to start playing music. So here we go.